Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some news coming out from Israel that I want to share with you. I want to talk to you about these ongoing protests that have been happening for the last 24 hours in Israel, primarily inside of Tel Aviv. And this is due to, on Saturday, the IDF located a tunnel inside of Rafah in the Gaza Strip. And inside of that tunnel, they found 6 hostages that were taken by Hamas back on October 7th when the major attack took place on Israel. And these hostages were unfortunately eliminated, okay? They were killed by Hamas apparently 2 to 3 days prior to being found. Now, this is a big deal, okay? This is sparking major protests inside of Israel right now. 3 of these hostages were supposed to be released following back to July, when a major proposal by the U.S. for a ceasefire deal between Hamas and Israel was supposed to be put into place. It fell through, and now we have these hostages that have lost their lives because that proposal has not been able to be implemented, okay, when it comes to a ceasefire deal. So major problems over here in Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu is under severe pressure right now to resign. Many of the citizens are calling for his resignation. They want a ceasefire deal with Hamas so that way the hostages can come home. They are not concerned about the security situation with Gaza right now. They are more concerned about getting these hostages back home. So the protesters and the citizens of Israel are very upset by that. So I want to talk some more about that today, but first we're going to jump on over here to mainstream media just for a moment and talk about these hostages that were killed. Who were they? So on ABC News, who were the 6 hostages killed in Gaza? This just came out today. Israeli officials said the bodies of 6 hostages were recovered on Saturday. Israeli officials on Sunday said they recovered the bodies of 6 hostages in Gaza, adding that each appeared to have been killed shortly before they were found, a development that sparked mass protests and ratcheted up tensions in the Middle East. The bodies of Carmel Gat, Eden Yerushalmi, Israeli-American Hirsch Goldberg Polin, Alexander Lobanov, Almog Sarusi, and Master Sergeant Ori Danino were recovered in a tunnel in Rafah by the Israel Defense Forces and the Israel Securities Authority. IDF officials said in a statement, 3 of those were killed. Killed were supposed to be released in the first phase of a ceasefire deal according to a proposal from July. Okay, so here's some photos of them here. And they were supposed to be, 3 of them were supposed to be released starting back as far as July, when some ceasefire negotiations were taking place with the U.S. The U.S. had a proposal from Joe Biden, and 3 of them were supposed to be coming home by now, and now they're not. Now, unfortunately, they've been killed by Hamas, so very big deal here, and now the citizens, again, of Israel are very upset by this, protesting like crazy, probably some of the biggest protests we've seen in Israel to date since the October 7th massacre began. So we're going to talk some more about this today. I'm going to jump on over here to X now, and I want to show you guys an update from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as of yesterday. So let's jump on over here now. It says Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this morning, "This is a difficult day for us. Together with all citizens of Israel, I was outraged to the depths of my soul by the horrific, cold-blooded murder of 6 of our hostages." So this is him speaking, putting out a statement just yesterday, about 24 hours or so after the 6 hostages were found to be murdered by Hamas. So take a look at this.
לב העם כולו נקרע. יחד עם כל אזרחי ישראל, הזדעזעתי עד עמקי נשמתי מהרצח הנורא בדם קר של 6 מחטופינו. כרמל גת, עדן ירושלמי, הירש גולדברג פולין, אלכסנדר לובנוב, אלמוג סרוסי ורב סמל ראשון אורי דנינו, זיכרונם לברכה. השם ייקום דמם. יחד עם העם כולו, רעייתי ואני משתתפים ביגון הכבד של המשפחות. כולנו מתאבלים יחד עימן. אני מבקש להביע הערכה עמוקה לכוחותינו, לחיילי צה"ל ולוחמי השב"כ האמיצים, שמסכנים את חייהם למען השבת בנינו ובנותינו. אני אומר למחבלי החמאס שרצחו את חטופינו, ואני אומר למנהיגיהם, דמכם בראשכם, לא ננוח ולא נשקוט. אנחנו נרדוף אתכם, אנחנו נשיג אתכם, ואנחנו נבוא איתכם חשבון. אזרחי ישראל, אנחנו נלחמים בכל החזיתות, באויב אכזר שרוצה לרצוח את כולנו. רק הבוקר הוא רצח 3 שוטרים בחברון. רעייתי ואני שולחים תנחומים מעומק ליבנו למשפחותיהם. ראינו את האכזריות הבלתי נתפסת של רוצחי החמאס ב7 באוקטובר, וראינו אותה שוב במנהרות מתחת לרפיח. העובדה שהחמאס ממשיך לבצע זוועות כמו אלה שביצע ב7 באוקטובר, מחייבת אותנו לעשות הכל כדי שהוא לא יוכל לבצע את הזוועות הללו שוב. אזרחי ישראל, המאמצים שלנו לשחרר את חטופינו נמשכים כל העת. מאז חודש דצמבר, חמאס מסרב לנהל משא ומתן אמיתי. לפני 3 חודשים, ב-27 במאי, ישראל הסכימה לעסקת שחרור חטופים בגיבוי מלא של ארצות הברית. החמאס סירב. גם אחרי שארצות הברית עדכנה את מתווה העסקה ב-16 באוגוסט, אנחנו הסכמנו והחמאס שוב סירב. בימים אלה, בשעה שישראל מנהלת משא ומתן אינטנסיבי מול המתווכות במאמץ עליון להגיע לעסקה, החמאס ממשיך לסרב בתוקף לכל הצעה. חמור מכך, באותו זמן ממש הוא רצח 6 מחטופינו. מי שרוצח חטופים לא רוצה עסקה. אנחנו בצדנו לא נרפה. ממשלת ישראל מחויבת, ואני מחויב באופן אישי, להמשיך לחתור לעסקה שתחזיר את כל חטופינו ותבטיח את ביטחוננו ואת קיומנו.
Okay, so as we can see, Benjamin Netanyahu under a lot of pressure here, and we can see too that he wants to get revenge for the killing of the 6 hostages that were taken captive by Hamas and unfortunately lost their lives recently over the last couple of days. So this is a terrible situation for Israel to be in, and it's also going to make it very difficult for Israel to come to any sort of agreement and deal with Hamas. But at the same time, they kind of need this deal, okay? They've got a lot of pressure from the United States and lots of partners around the world. And obviously, we have this potential attack from Iran coming, okay? And if these ceasefire negotiations fall through in any way, we could definitely see an attack coming from Iran at some point. They've already come out and said they would do that. Also, the Yemen Houthis are planning on attacking Israel at some point too. So definitely Benjamin Netanyahu has a lot of pressure on his plate right now. So I'm going to show you this also coming out from Sky News. Our nation will not surrender to this pressure. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says at a news conference that Israel must stand united as one so that Hamas understands we won't give up. So he's basically going to come out in this conference as of today, September 2nd, 2024, and he's going to say that he's not going to cave to the pressure, that obviously the Israelis are protesting right now too against him, trying to get him to resign, that he is basically not going to resign and cave to the pressure, and they're going to keep pushing until they are finished with Hamas and finish the job, and also hopefully get a ceasefire deal with Hamas to bring the hostages back home. Take a look.
I know how to withstand pressure, even greater pressures, and our people, our nation won't surrender to this pressure. Most of the people understand, and it doesn't matter what you see on the screens, on TV. And I say to Sinwar, forget about it. It's not going to happen. We need to stand united to insist on this vital interest. We must act together so that the other side understands, just like they understood about putting an end to the war. They need to understand that we're not going to give up on the crucial things. We do give in on other matters that aren't that crucial. I gave a lot of flexibility throughout the year, but anything that's crucial, we insist on. And once Hamas understands that, once they understand, there's going to be a deal. And once they understand that, we will ensure our existence and our future. Together we stand, together we fight, and together, God willing, we will win.
Okay, so as we can see from this video as well, Benjamin Netanyahu seems to be very upset by all the pressure that is being put on him. And it made me wonder, too, if maybe Hamas did this on purpose, taking out these hostages to put pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu, because we talked just the other day about the Philadelphia corridor. That is a major gateway for Hamas to bring weapons into the Gaza Strip, and right now Israel has control over that, and they've been coming out and saying that even as part of a hostage deal, they will not give up the Philadelphia corridor to prevent Hamas from bringing in weapons to the Gaza Strip, and that is obviously a major talking point with these ceasefire negotiations, and we're seeing these negotiations fail and fall apart, and that's a large part of it is because of the Philadelphia corridor, okay? So we'll talk about that some more as we move on. But I've got a couple videos here as well, and also a picture to show you guys of the protests that are going on inside of Israel right now from Hillary Gandhi. Mass protests in Israel and Tel Aviv, Israel, demanding ceasefire deal and resignation of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. So this just came out yesterday on X. We've got this photo to take a look at here. Definitely tens of thousands of people here in the center of Israel gathered to call for Benjamin Netanyahu's resignation and also to get these hostages back home, strike a deal with Hamas and bring them home. So we've got two videos to take a look at in regards to these protests. So let's go ahead and check these out. So we can see the people of Israel definitely very upset. We've got hundreds, if not thousands of people just right here at this intersection. So we've got another video to take a look at as well. Let's go ahead and check this out. Okay, so this shows right here, the growing divide between the people and the government as well in Israel, that the people just want their hostages to come back home. That's all they care about. But Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government, but I would say mainly Benjamin Netanyahu, they want to eliminate Hamas. They want to focus on all their war goals before even getting these hostages back. Would they like to have them back right now? Yes. But in order to get them back immediately, they have to give up major, major war goals, and it's going to look bad on the Israeli government, especially Benjamin Netanyahu himself, who has come out many times saying they want to eliminate Hamas, they want to take control over the Philadelphia corridor, they don't want to allow any more weapons to flow into the Gaza Strip, they don't want Hamas to survive, they want to completely eliminate them, and they can't exactly do that right now if they just strike a deal with Hamas and bring these hostages back home. So definitely a major, major issue right now. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next update from Boris Alexander Beisner. Netanyahu is getting more and more into trouble. Protests in Israel after the military found the bodies of 6 hostages in Gaza. The demonstrators are demanding that the authorities immediately release the hostages held by Hamas. So we've got one video to look at, also 2 pictures. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this real quick. All right, sorry guys, we're a little loud there. Somebody's on a loudspeaker clearly talking. But yeah, we can see again, thousands of people just right here gathered together. And this was just in the last 24 hours, okay? Major, major protests happening inside of Israel right now. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at a couple pictures here as well. We're hearing some reports that Israelis were also blocking roads. So that's what it looks like here. A lot of roads and highways were being blocked. There was even some water cannons being brought out to disperse the crowds and get people out of the way so that way the traffic can get through. So, we even had major labor union strikes. The union was coming out and striking and threatening that they would shut down the entire, system inside of Israel, and it would make it very difficult for Israel to do anything if their people stop working, okay? Obviously, the people got to keep working to keep things moving. But again, major, major issues here inside of Israel. One more photo to share with you as well. Here's a bunch of protesters in Israel also. Clearly, we can see them blocking this intersection to prevent any cars from coming through. So a major shutdown of Tel Aviv for sure is what we are seeing happening inside of Israel. And the citizens, again, are very, very upset, and they want their people to come back home. So I've got several mainstream media reports here on the Times of Israel. They're just live updates that I want to share with you. We'll mainly go over just the headlines here so I can kind of show you what's going on in the last 12 hours or so. So this is from the Times of Israel. Reports U.S. to present final take it or leave it deal offer, says hostages execution casts doubt on Hamas's seriousness. Okay, so this is very big. Looks like we've got one final deal that will be released for Hamas to accept very soon from the U.S. And I'm also hearing that if Hamas chooses to decline this offer once again, the ceasefire deal that will come to them soon from the U.S., that this will probably be the final one from what we're hearing. And also the U.S. may back out from even becoming or being mediators here in the conflict. So I don't know how that's going to affect things with the war, but that was something big being announced here, is that a final offer, take it or leave it deal is going to be offered to Hamas very soon. So hopefully we can get a deal. So let's go ahead and move to this next one. Also from the Times of Israel, report U.S. suggests Israel reduce Gaza ops or operations for fear Hamas will kill hostages if IDF is near. So this is probably what happened. Okay, during Saturday when those hostages were found, maybe Hamas knew that the IDF was getting very close, so they went ahead and offed the hostages that were there and took them out, as maybe they weren't able to transport them, or who knows what was happening. Maybe they didn't have time to get out. They didn't want Israel to have another rescue operation, which what happened back in June. We had a major rescue operation and on the northern side of Israel. So yeah, this is a big deal as well. So if the U.S. is telling Israel to reduce their operations inside of Gaza, this could be a big problem too, because the IDF needs to continue operating to, for one, get these hostages back and also eliminate Hamas. So that's some big information coming out from the U.S. as well. Also, another report here from the Times of Israel, Hamas hints 6 slain hostages extracted by IDF from Gaza over the weekend were murdered because troops were near. Okay, this was something that Hamas reportedly said, and I have it down here. We have a statement. It says in a statement, the spokesman for the military wing of Hamas says that following Israel's successful hostage rescue in Nuseirat in June, which is the last known rescue operation that we were just talking about right now, new protocols were given to terrorists guarding the abductees if Israeli troops were approaching them. We say to everyone clearly that after the Nuseirat incident, new instructions were issued to the Mujahideen assigned to guard the prisoners regarding dealing with them if the occupation army approached their place of detention. Hudaifa Kalot, known by the Nam de Guerre, I don't know if it's Guerre, Abu Obeida. Man, that's really tough to say, guys. So yeah, basically a major statement coming out from Hamas saying that if any of the IDF gets close to where the hostages are being held at, they may potentially harm them or murder them, which is what we saw with these 6 hostages that were taken out recently on Saturday. So that's some huge news, and this could make it very difficult for Israel to rescue any potential hostages in the future. And then, to me, this also indicates that there may not be very many left alive. We know that there's still, I think, well over 100 that could be held captive, but we don't know how many of them are even alive. There's really not much information on that. So 2 more things to go over here real quick. Times of Israel again. Netanyahu says hostage murders prove need for unity in existential war against Iran. Okay, so he's calling out for unity. We talked a little bit about that video that was brought up earlier, where we had Benjamin Netanyahu talking about the fact that he was not going to resign, and he was going to stay strong for Israel, and they were going to continue pushing until they achieve all their goals and eliminate Hamas and whatever. So obviously this is a big deal too, because we know at the end of the day, this all has to do with Iran. And we know that right now there's lots of U.S. warships in the Middle East guarding Israel, and also a bunch of warships off the coast of Iran too. So if Iran decides to attack Israel at some point, we could see a major response from the United States. Would they go after their nuclear facilities? What would happen? We don't really know yet. But at the end of the day, Israel's saying that, they need to be unified against Iran, and that at the end of the day, this is who they're really fighting against. It's not so much Hamas and Hezbollah, it's all of Iran as a whole, and they utilize these proxies to attack Israel is kind of what he's saying. Also, one last thing to show you guys here. Times of Israel again. Netanyahu insists Israel must and will retain control of Gaza-Egypt border, says Iran's axis of evil needs Philadelphia access. Okay, so the Philadelphia corridor, that's what I'm talking about. And he's still coming out and saying that they must retain control of the Philadelphia corridor. Now, on this map, we can see here, while Benjamin Netanyahu's standing up doing a speech, the southern side here, this is Egypt down here, and then this is Gaza, the yellow portion. So this border right here is the Philadelphia corridor. This is where a lot of the weaponry comes in. It comes in through Egypt into the Gaza Strip, and as we can see, all these weapons, there's rockets, money, and then Hamas right here. They get funneled into the Gaza Strip and moved up northward, where they end up all over the Gaza Strip, and then eventually these rockets and drones, whatever, get pushed into the Gaza Strip, head on over to Israel, and then they become under attack again. So that's the main reason why Israel does not want to give up the Philadelphia corridor. And just the other day I talked about this, and I had an update regarding that basically the cabinet of the Israeli government, they voted to maintain control of the Philadelphia corridor. So we are definitely going to have a deadlock decision, most likely, between Hamas and Israel. And if we do get this next update regarding a ceasefire deal, it's probably going to be something along the lines of there is no deal still. And what's going to happen there? Is the U.S. going to back out as a mediator? And if they do, is Israel and Hamas still going to negotiate? And if they don't negotiate, what is Israel going to do? How are they going to get these hostages back? Obviously, they won't be able to do it necessarily by military means. Can they keep the pressure on Hamas with military? Yes, they can. But I don't think the military will be the solution to get all these hostages back out. They obviously need some sort of deal to get them back. So I don't know what's going to happen over here, but I think we're going to see major things happening over the next couple weeks inside of Israel. But I wanted to bring you the latest, kind of fill you in on what's going on over here and why these protests are being taken place right now inside of Israel. So I hope you got something out of this. If you did, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. With that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.